everyone, welcome back to Actual English. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 382 and we're on the topic of Lunar New Year, part 2. We'll focus on 설날 plans. Now previously we talked about the traditions related to the New Year's holiday. Today let's focus on plans. People may want to make plans in advance, especially if you have to visit relatives living far away from you. You might have to buy train tickets or, plan ahead so that you could get together, gather together to, cook food or prepare delicious meals. There's a lot of planning, that needs to be done, especially during these busy holiday seasons. A lot of stores are closed. A lot of restaurants are closed. Pretty much everything is closed around the 설날 holidays. So yes, you are going to have to plan ahead to do pretty much everything, right? Okay, let's begin with actual talk.
As a worker here in Korea, I don't get as many vacation days as they do back home in England and in America. I find that's really difficult. 5 days in the summer and 5 days in the winter. It's really a short time. But they do have a lot of red days here, a lot of bank holidays.
Okay.
And obviously around Seollal and around Chuseok, you get sort of 3 days vacation time.
Right.
If you stack that in with the weekends, then you get like a 5-day vacation, which is...
Is it 5 days this year?
5 days this year, yeah. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend as well. So do you have any plans for getting outside of Seoul?
Yeah, we usually go to my in-laws' house.
Okay.
So they live just past Gimpo.
Ah, right.
Well, they have a farmhouse, and then they have their apartment in Gimpo. So we usually go to the farm. It's cold.
Yes.
It's very cold, but it's kind of cozy. You've got the whole family around. Inside, they have like fire that they heat their house with that.
Okay.
So we're kind of all cozy around there and eating the traditional, what's it called, the traditional New Year's?
Songpyeon, the
Yes.
dok, the rice cakes.
In the soup, right?
And guksu, yeah.
Yeah, so we eat that and then usually get all bundled up and go for a walk through the farm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, how about you?
This year, actually, I'm off to Japan.
Really?
Yes, going with my Korean family.
Okay, in-laws.
Yeah, in-laws, yeah. Not just the wife, but all of the family together. So it'll be quite a unique experience for me to take a vacation with Koreans in a different country.
Yeah, and I think it'll bring your whole family closer.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great vacation.
Traveling does that.
Okay, now we know what Martin is up to. He does have plans for 설날, the Lunar New Year holidays. He's planning on taking a trip with his family-in-law. Now, they talked about that. Okay, let's take a look at the conversation together then. Here we go. Martin begins by saying, as a worker here in Korea. Now, worker is a fairly easy word. But we all know what the word to work means. What is a worker? Simply put, it is a person who works. Some synonyms may be, laborer, employee. A person that works is a worker. So, as a worker here in Korea, I don't get as many vacation days as they do back home in England and in America. So he's making a comparison. In Korea, I don't get as many vacation days as they do where? In England and in America. So what is he saying? He's basically saying that he works a lot more in Korea. If he were to compare himself working in America, he would have more holidays, more vacation days. Even if he were to be working in England, he would probably have more days off, meaning vacation days. Okay? But in Korea, yes, we do work a lot harder, I guess. The 5 days in the summer and 5 days in the winter, it's really a short time. What is he talking about? 5 days in the winter and also 5 days in the summer. He's talking about vacation days. The vacation days that he gets, okay? It's really a short time, a short vacation period. But they do have a lot of red days here. All right, we don't exactly say red days in America. I don't believe they do in Canada nor in England. But since we call red days, like national holidays, in Korea, 빨간 날, because they're often marked in red on the calendar, yes, even expats. If you live in Korea for long enough, you call them red days. We're talking about national holidays. Okay, so he's saying, yeah, but they do. In Korea, they do have a lot of red days here. A lot of bank holidays. All right. He explains to us once again, just in case people did not understand what he meant by red days. He says, all right, in other words, a lot of bank holidays. This is a British expression. Now, in British, okay, usually bank holidays would refer to days in which banks are closed. So when people in Britain say bank holidays, they're talking about national holidays. Days that are considered as national holidays are bank holidays because on national holidays, banks are, yes, definitely going to close. Okay? So bank holidays, especially in Britain, we're talking about national holidays. Red days in Korea. Okay. And obviously around 설날 and around 추석. Around these holidays, you get 3 days vacation time. Usually, you would get 3 days vacation time. If you stack that in with the weekends, stack, S-T-A-C-K, what does that mean? In this sentence, it is used as a verb, okay? To stack something means to pile up. To arrange in a stack or a pile. Put one thing on top of another, okay? Means to accumulate, to build up. As a noun, it just means a stack, a pile of something, such as a pile of books, a stack of books, for instance. But here, he's saying that if you stack that in with the weekends, if you add that up with the weekends, okay, then you get like a 5-day vacation. So that's 3 days plus the weekend, perhaps, Saturday and Sunday. That's 3 plus 2 days. So he says, yeah, then you would get a 5-day vacation in that case, a longer vacation. Now, Mary asks, is it 5 days this year? Yeah. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend as well. Yes. So, he asks, do you have any plans for getting outside of Seoul? Do you have any plans for something? All right. Getting outside of Seoul. In other words, do you have plans to get outside of Seoul? All right. Escape. Go somewhere else. All right. Other than Seoul. All right. So he's asking about 설날 plans, and Mary says, we usually go to my in-laws' house. Aha. So she usually goes to her in-laws' place. They live just past Gimpo. All right. A little farther away. Well, they have a farmhouse. All right. A farmhouse is a pretty easy word as well, but just in case. What is a farmhouse? Okay. Where would you find a farmhouse? You would most likely find a farmhouse on a farm or near a farm. So a farmhouse is a house that is usually attached to a farm or that's on a farm. Okay, so her in-laws, they have a farmhouse and then they have their apartment in Gimpo. Aha! So they've got a farmhouse and they do have a separate apartment that they mainly live in, I guess, in Gimpo. So, Mary says, we usually go to the farm. It's very cold, but it's kind of cozy. We take a look at the word cozy, okay? You've got the whole family around, the whole family around, meaning the whole family gathers together. They all get together, the whole family. including the extended family members. All right? Inside, they have a fire that they heat their house with. So we're kind of all cozy around there and eating the traditional, what's it called, she says? So she's now talking about the atmosphere. What happens when they get together? It's all cozy. It's a nice feeling to be all together. They're all eating traditional foods, but she can't remember, so she says, oh, what's it called? What was the name of it? Oh, what's it called? The traditional New Year's, and boom. Martin says, 송편, 떡, the rice cakes? Yes, right. 송편, which is a type of 떡, often called rice cake or rice cakes in English. I do tell my foreign friends to try to stay away from using the word rice cake. If it's 송편, call it 송편. Okay? If it's 꿀떡, call it 꿀떡. Just call it its name. So that's exactly what he did. You could either call it 송편 or 떡, which is, you know, just the genre, I guess you can call it, the group of rice cakes. 송편 is a type of 떡. Okay, Mary says, in the soup, right? Perhaps she's talking about 떡국, I guess. And Martin even adds, yes. And there's 국수 as well. Yeah, so we eat that. No, she's talked about eating 떡국 perhaps. And then we usually get all bundled up. Bundle up. To bundle up means to dress warmly, dress snugly, dress cozily, okay? Usually in warm clothes or even, I guess, just cloth like a blanket, for example. So you can cover yourself with a warm blanket, which could be to bundle up. You can also bundle up by wearing warm clothing. So it means to dress snugly, okay? Dress warmly. So they all bundle up and they go for a walk through the farm. And she asks, how about you? Meaning, what do you do? Or do you have any plans for the holidays? This year, actually, I'm off to Japan, he says. All right, this year, I'm off to Japan. What does that mean? Off to, off to, off to. To be off to means to leave, okay? To go to a certain destination, to leave for a certain destination. So he's basically saying this year, I'm leaving to Tokyo. I'm going to Tokyo. I'm off to Tokyo. Just means that he will be departing, going to a certain location, which means Japan in this case. Going with my Korean family. Korean family? Mary says, okay, in-laws. That's right. Yeah, in-laws. Not just the wife, okay, not just the wife, but all of the family together. So it will be quite a unique experience for me to take a vacation or go on a vacation with Koreans in a different country. All right. Now, this brings us to an end of the conversation, but Mary even adds, I think it'll bring your whole family closer. Bring people closer just means that it'll help you bond with each other, become closer, okay? Build a connection, bond with each other, become closer with each other. And he says, yeah, I think it'll be a great vacation. So, you know, I think it'll be a great opportunity for Martin, as he said, to go on vacation with his Korean family, his in-laws, and see what it's like to be in another country with his Korean family. I think it will be a unique experience. I hope that Martin and Mary have a wonderful holiday. Thanks, guys, for sharing. Okay, now it's our turn to listen to the conversation one more time.
As a worker here in Korea, I don't get as many vacation days as you do back home in England and in America. I find that's really difficult. 5 days in the summer and 5 days in the winter. It's really a short time. But they do have a lot of red days here, a lot of bank holidays.
Okay.
And obviously around Seollal and around Chuseok, you get sort of 3 days vacation time.
Right.
If you stack that in with the weekends, then you get like a 5-day vacation, which is...
Is it 5 days this year?
5 days this year, yeah. I think it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the weekend as well. So do you have any plans for getting outside of Seoul?
Yeah, we usually go to my in-laws' house.
Okay.
So they live just past Gimpo.
Right.
Well, they have a farmhouse, and then they have their apartment in Gimpo. So we usually go to the farm. It's cold.
Yes.
It's very cold, but it's kind of cozy. You've got the whole family around. Inside they have like fire that they heat their house with that.
Okay.
So we're kind of all cozy around there and eating the traditional, what's it called, the traditional New Year's?
Songpyeon, the
Yes.
dok, the rice cakes.
In the soup, right?
And guksu, yeah.
Yeah, so we eat that and then usually get all bundled up and go for a walk through the farm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, how about you?
This year, actually, I'm off to Japan.
Really?
Yes, going with my Korean family.
Okay, in-laws.
Yeah, in-laws, yeah. Not just the wife, but all of the family together. So it'll be quite a unique experience for me to take a vacation with Koreans in a different country.
Yeah, and I think it'll bring your whole family closer.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great vacation.
Traveling does that.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for actual expressions. Now, as you may have noticed, talking about the Lunar New Year, there really isn't much complicated things to talk about. So we're talking about the simple and the basic things that we usually see and experience during these holiday periods or holiday seasons. Today, we have selected 3 vocab words as well from the actual talk conversation. A pretty easy word, but worth going over. A worker is what? A laborer or employee. A person that works. Okay, Martin began by saying that since he is a worker in Korea, he doesn't really get that many vacation days. Okay, and he did make a comparison. So simply put, a worker is a person that works. These are some other synonyms you can make use of. An employee would be a good one. What about stack? As I told you, today we took a look at the word stack used in the verb form, which means to load, pile, or pile up. Accumulate, as I said. Okay, so a stack of something would be a pile of something where things are all piled up or stacked on top of each other or put on top of each other. But if it's used in the verb form, it means to add things, okay, to pile things up. We were talking about how days can be stacked. 3 days plus the weekend would be 5 days. What about farmhouse? Here we go. Stress goes right there. A farmhouse basically is a house that is attached to a farm or even on a farm. What about a ranch? A ranch is slightly different. It's kind of different. It could be used as a synonym, but it could be used to describe an establishment for livestock especially. Okay, a place where you have, for example, pigs and cows, for example, cattle, that would be called a ranch. So just remember the slight difference between farmhouse and a ranch. But yes, a ranch could be used as a synonym for farmhouse. Okay, now moving on to our first pattern for today. Bank holiday. Okay, we learned a British expression. A bank holiday is what? It's usually used in Britain, okay, it's British expression, to talk about national holidays. A day on which banks are closed. So when you want to talk about national holidays, yes, here it is, bank holiday. If the payment date, we're talking about payment date, the date on which you have to make the payment. If the payment date falls on a weekend or a bank holiday, your payment will be debited on the following business day. Okay. Now this is a long sentence, so I'm going to need to describe to you a bit about this. This sentence actually could be used, yes, quite commonly to talk about payments. Now, if the payment date falls on a weekend or a bank holiday, in these two cases, banks are closed, right? So what happens? Your payment will be debited on the following business day, on the next business day. Got it? Okay, let's practice together one more time. If the payment date falls on a weekend or a bank holiday, your payment will be debited on the following business day. All right, practice this sentence. You can make use of it. All right? Okay, moving on to our next one. Bundle up. Bundle up usually in something. Okay, in something such as a coat, a blanket, a jacket, a sweater, anything warm. Bundle up means to dress snugly, dress warmly, right? So, make sure you bundle up in something warm before you go outside. This is something you can tell your children, for example, even your husband, wife, friend, anyone, but usually your kids. When it's cold outside and they want to go outside and play, make snowmen, have a snow fight, you could say, make sure you bundle up in something warm before you go outside. Basically meaning make sure you dress warmly. Let's practice one more time together. Make sure you bundle up in something warm before you go outside. Good job. Okay, we've got one more. Okay, Martin was talking about how this year he's actually off to Japan, right? So, be off to a certain location means to go to that place, to leave for, take off to, be off to. I'll be off to London next Monday, which means what? I'm going to go to London next Monday. On Monday, I'm leaving to London. Let's practice this sentence 2 times. I'll be off to London next Monday. One more time. I'll be off to London next Monday. Job well done. Okay, please do go over these vocab words and the patterns more on your own.